The following videography will focus on geographic features from the Rio Grande Valley. So let's begin with the Spanish land grants. I will be focusing on Huasteco for the theme of region. After living on the land for 10 years, settlers were granted allotments or porciones along the riverfront. Royal commissioners selected and marked out 20 lanes of 140-foot-long cord measuring 2,800 feet along the riverbank and extending approximately 50 miles inland. In the jurisdiction of Reynosa, there were 43 porciones north of the river. Huasteco is in the land grant of Llano Grande, which means Big Plain in Spanish, awarded to Juan Jose Hinojosa in 1790. He died before he received the grant. However, his family administered it until 1852. I will be discussing the railroad tracks first. The reason I chose this location is because it is very important to the history of Huasteco. I will be connecting the railroad tracks to the geographic theme of location. The north side of the tracks was considered the Mexican town back in the 1960s. As I was driving down the north side of the tracks, I was able to see that most of what was then kind of extended to what is now. This is the north side of the tracks, and you could see that homes, they're old, they're small, and there's not much to the condition of living in this side of town. As opposed, driving in the south side of town, the view is completely different. You're able to see that houses are more spaced out, there's more greenery, and neighbors had their own privacy. Back in the 1960s, the south side was the only side that had the high school. So once students had to transfer from the 8th grade to the high school, that's when the Mexican Americans were introduced to a complete different set of people, and it was a culture shock to them. The high school will be the next location I focus on. I will be connecting it to the theme of movement. Reason being is because the high school brought a lot of movement into the south side of the tracks in the 1960s, since it was the only high school in the city at the time. The new mixture of cultures is what decided if a student ended up in high school because relationships between the two weren't always the best. Students usually attended a 7th grade campus, then moved on to the 8th grade campus, and if they survived that, they will finally attend the high school, where Mexican Americans and gringos met. The next location I will be focusing on is the Progreso International Bridge. I will be connecting this location to the human-environmental interaction. The Mexican-American border plays a huge role in our ecosystem. Especially now with the talk of a potential border wall, we need to take into consideration what our actions will play on the environment. Not just the vegetation, but as well as the animals that live in that area. While it may not be a huge deal to many, when we divide that area, we will be moving animals out of our homes, and eventually they move into our area. This potential border wall will also affect migration patterns, since the Santa Ana Refuge is home to many of the species that migrate to the south. The last location I will be focusing on is UTRGV. I will be connecting it to the theme of place. Reason being because when we generally refer to UTRGV, we look at it as a place we go to and not a specific location. Originally called UTPA, it was founded in 1927 and its mascot was the bronc. The bronc statue in the front of the visitor center was unveiled on November 2nd, 2002. It was presented by Dr. Nevares and casted by the Shidoni Foundry by Vero Goodnight. Its original name was Pan American College, but it later became Pan American University once it achieved full university status. Enrollment grew from 2,000 to nearly 10,000. It later became known as the University of Texas Pan American once it was admitted into the UT system. It preserved its 40-year legacy name of Pan American. I hope you enjoyed the information I had to share with y'all today. I enjoyed having to go to all these places and find this information for y'all. Thank you for watching.